Hey guys, how's it going? So as I was recording videos on job experiences, I wanted to go into my job experience or lack of job experience, my applying at the post office. I recently applied at the post office because I have a ex that has a dad that works for the post office. I have a friend that works for the post office, and I know a few other people in the post office. And they all always told me how great a job it is and how it has tons of benefits and it's totally worth it. So for a few years I was skeptical about it because I heard there's some things people don't like about it. It's a lot of work. But I finally said, okay, you know what? I'm going to apply to the post office. I'm going to give it my all. So I practiced the practice test because there's a test you have to take. So I practiced. And it's not really a test you could practice for because it's all randomized and memory based. So what happened is in the beginning when I applied, like a week or 2 weeks later, I got a message to take an online test. Actually, wait. No, so when I applied, I had to take an online test that took about an hour. And it was just like a psychological test to make sure you're not going to go crazy, I guess, at the post office. So I took that. I passed that. And then I had to wait 2 weeks to hear back about when I can take the real exam, which is what I practiced for online, just taking practice tests and stuff. And the real exam it's like, if I can remember correctly, it's like 60 questions on one part, 30 on another, 30 on another, something like that. And the first part is all easy, like matching up, making sure the address over here is the same as the address over there, matching them. So that part's easy. And then it goes into another part similar to that. And then the last part is the memory part where you have to look over a whole bunch of addresses and numbers. And then you have to make sure you have to remember the numbers and addresses basically and fit them into different categories. Like A was like addresses 1 through 1,000. B was like 1,000 to 2,000. You had to put the addresses in the different categories. I have a bad memory, so that was the only hard part for me. But I ended up getting like a 78, so almost an 80, which I didn't think was horrible. I mean, in high school, I probably got more 78s than 80s. But anyway, so I got that out of the way. I was excited that I passed because I heard a lot of people, aren't fast enough and failed the test and everything. But I passed. And the funny thing is, actually, when we went to the testing center, they make sure it's like an hour or so away from your house from what I read. I guess it's just a coincidence that the testing centers are always far from everyone. But everyone that I talked to, it was like an hour away from where they live. I don't know why. But when I went in there, no one was in the room. And it was empty. So I went snooping around and I went through another door, which is where all the computers are, which I guess people from all different companies are testing. And the woman came out and screamed at me. So I had that going in the beginning that freaked me out in the beginning. But I passed the test. And she said, okay, you'll get your results immediately. And I got them, was excited. And then you'll hear back soon to when your interview will be. So that took about 3 weeks. And I thought, oh, God, they didn't accept me. I'm not going to get this. But it took about 3 weeks. And the time periods are different for everyone. Sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes it's a week. But it took them 3 weeks to respond to me through an email and tell me, which you have to watch your spam folder and your email. You can't miss it, to come in for an interview. Okay. So the interview, when you go in there, I went in early because I thought, if I get in early, I'll be seen early out of all these people. I can get my interview out of the way. It'll probably look good for me to get there early. Well, one other guy showed up early. And so it was me and him just sitting there talking. And then people started trickling in. I guess like 20 people came in. Maybe more. And when they waited about an hour before the people that were interviewing came in, I guess to psych us out or something. And when they came in, they said, I'm going to start weeding you guys out. this job has a lot of walking. You'll walk 10 to 12 miles a day. It's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. It's going to be raining. You have to deal with all different weather types. The LLVs, which are the long-lasting vehicle that we use, are from 84 and 94, so they're kind of old, you know, and you're going to be driving those. And after a while, like 5 or 6 people said, okay, this job isn't for me, because when you're first starting out, you begin as a CCA, usually. And as a CCA, for the first 90 days, you're being watched 100%. You can't do anything wrong or you'll get fired. You can't get injured. You can't take sick days. Can't get sick at all or you'll get fired. And basically, when people heard they couldn't take any days off, they had to work Monday through Sunday. They were on call 24/7 for 3 months. That weeded out a few more people. And then it came to the core group and they started the interviews. I was like 7 in or 8 in, and the interviews are based on your score that you got, so people had a higher score than me. And when I went in, the interview wasn't hard. They didn't even really ask me questions, except for I had a delivery job before, so they're asking me about that because it was similar, delivering food and delivering packages, I guess. So they're asking me all about that. Very easy questions. The interview was not hard at all. And after, they said to me, expect an email. It was great meeting you. And they were really optimistic about it, and I felt optimistic. So I thought, I'm in. But it turns out, when they have interviews, usually they have 20 people for one position. So, of course, the people that had the higher score go get in first, and if they don't make it, then the next people, then the next people. So I thought I was going to get it. I waited another 3 weeks without hearing anything. So I was like, I didn't get it. And then I got an email. I was so excited. And they were like, yeah, you didn't get this position. So you should try applying to another position or waiting for a vacancy and trying again. Well, the post offices around me don't hire that often. They hire maybe once, twice a year, because the people usually keep their job. So, I'm going to have to get another job, I guess, while I'm waiting to see if I can get into the post office eventually. Some of the people that I was talking to in the interview room were like, it took us 3 or 4 applications just to get here. So, I might have to wait and see if another position opens up eventually. I wasn't super excited about one thing that the postmaster told us. He's like, if you get accepted, you have to take the driving test, which, when I personally had my driving test, when I first started driving, it's kind of funny. I had the best guy for the test, and I was really excited because I was like, I'm going to pass and everything. And then I went to Wendy's to eat because everyone went on their break before I took my test. And when I was backing out, I almost hit this guy. And then he freaked out, waving his hands in the air. And when I went back to take the test, it turns out that the good test taker had to leave for the day, and that guy that I almost hit was my new test taker. So I almost failed my driving test originally. But I passed. I was fine. So driving test kind of stressed me out a little bit. With someone watching me and judging me, that always stresses me out. So I wasn't too excited about that. And the postmaster said if you mess up on the driving test at all, you get fired and you're out and you'll have to apply again to another position. So that was kind of a lot more stress put on it. I thought if you make a mistake, you just keep going. You can try again, but no, you're fired. And I wasn't also super excited about the LLVs. The vehicles, they said they're from 84 and 94. That's when they stopped making them. And they have no AC. And they're like ovens with a tiny little fan and tiny little windows. And you have no way of seeing out your back because there's no window there. They just have mirrors on the side. And I was told, like, it gets to, like, when it's 100 here, because it's summer, it'll get to, like, 200 in that van. My friend actually has a cooler in his van that has 12 waters, and he easily goes through that a day. and there's not that many bathrooms on the route, so I don't know what happens there. Probably looks for restaurants or something, but yeah. So you know, I waited 3 weeks and I was denied, so that wasn't fun. But I mean, I hope this gives people a little bit of an idea of the process and what you have to go through. Like I said, from other people, they said they had different times. Some are longer, some are shorter. It all depends on what, I guess, the post office has going on. I'm going to try again, but, you know, I think I have to get another job while I'm waiting. And I have no car, so I have to kind of walk around and look for one. But I mean, anyone watching this, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get in the post office. And if you do, just work your butt off. Don't take any sick days. Don't take any time off. For those 90 days, work your butt off. Because after the 90 days, you you basically become safe, where it's harder to fire you. And you can join the union and everything, so you're protected. And they'll fight for you if you do get fired, and you might get your job back. And then you wait to become career, which is usually when someone retires, you can become career. And that just means that instead of jumping from different routes like the CCAs do, you're stuck on one route. And you can bid for different routes and get easier routes and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, good luck, everyone. And I think I have another job experience video coming up soon. I'm not sure yet. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.